I think we have our economics analyst, Mr. Olusesan, back on. Are you stable? Is your network better now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, thank you very much. It's part of the things that we're saying. I know the presidency will say, are we enjoying this in the 1960s? But I was trying to affirm something. There are basic things expected of the government as entrenched in our constitution. One of it speaks to security of lives and property, and the other aspect is the welfare of every citizen of the country. And when you speak to the welfare of the citizen, let me take cardinally things that speak to education. A lot of us are beneficiary of the free education on the part of the government while we were growing up in the early 80s. And I grew up in Lagos. I was born and brought up in Lagos. And we can give credence to what Jack Conde did. I'm not even referring to what our fathers and forefathers did when he came, when you want to speak to education. But what is the status of things as per the public schools that we have in the populace now? Can we compare it? It's more of private schools, and people pay through their nose to actually have that. When you go to the health sector, I'm still speaking to the welfare of an average citizen. When you go to the health sector, we have primary health center. How many of them can we speak to it that is very much functional as we speak? I read and I saw our fathers, when you speak to economy, when you graduate from school those days, you have all the people that are talking, inclusive of the special advisor to Mr. President. I'm sure he benefited from coming out as a school start holder and having access to vehicles to go around. There is this vehicle they call Ijapa, Volkswagen product then that a lot of them have access to. They can afford to buy new 504, buy new vehicles. How much of it can we speak to as we speak currently? So when somebody is speaking to the fact, what was the value of Naira to dollars before now? What is the comparison now? What is the cost of petroleum product? How many in the 60s that he was talking about to 70s, we had about 4 refineries working in this country. What is the state? How many have been added to what we have now? Not even talking of Dangote coming to rescue us, and several people are frustrating them. I think each time we need to speak to some of these things, we should speak not on politicizing everything on the fact. I can tell you an average graduate cannot even boast of having a living. A minimum wage was increased by this administration, and I will ask you, how many of them actually can the minimum wage take home? Logistics has taken a lot of it. We can't even have access during those periods. What do you speak to electricity? I'm sure they will put up a defense to say what was the population then. But I bring forth to say, as we are growing in population, what is actually the focus of the government to grow the kilowatts that is actually the megawatt that's actually being consumed? So if you ask me, Akinwumi is not far from telling us the reality, because average graduates compared to those years that they were referring to, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, when we can compete favorably. I was just discussing with someone that to travel locally here now, I'm sure you know the amount it will take. I had a return trip one way, and you're spending about 300,000 just for a one-way ticket. Is that what it used to be? Where is our national carrier that we used to have in those years? There are a lot of things. I think what they should be speaking to is that, can we do something better to leave a legacy that after our regime, people can see us revert back to what it used to be as the giant of Africa, which we claim to be. But if you speak to
Mr.
what
Okunade,
Akinwumi has said, I think we are far from what it used to be in the yesteryears as we speak now.
Mr. Okunade, I mean, some might argue that it's unfair to President Bola Tinubu. I mean, it's just 2 years into the government, and it's still a bit more time for him to achieve all of the benefits or all of the yield of his renewed agenda, renewed hope agenda, or manifesto that he ran on in 2023.
Yeah, my position on that is quite simple. If you look at the way the former president, and a lot of them have always been speaking, this is a strategy of second term to tell you that why can't we have some impactful policy that can transcend within 4 years and leave the space? Rather than saying that you don't have handful of time, what actually can we pinpoint to? As we speak, we still have security challenges, and every month we call the security chiefs. We give them marching order. Without them marching anywhere, people are unsafe to travel by road. I'll be able to say before now, people can go. We know he inherited it, but what are the map or the roadmap that we have that can say that in the last 2 years, these are the achievables that we can speak to as government? People can say that he has tried, but I can tell you, people cannot even survive. And I know a lot of people that speaks in favor of the government will say it's a global problem, but a lot of countries are domesticating some of these things to give their citizens livelihood.
Mr. Okunade, I think this we've lost you there. A bit of a gremlins. Economic analyst, Mr. Olusesan Okunade, Okunade, he's back. There we go. Let me just ask you about, because we're pressed for time, we're out of time. Institutional reforms that you think are urgent, because you're saying that 4 years is more than enough to achieve sort of a stability when it comes to our economic environment and making it conducive towards the road for recovery. What are those institutional reforms? Very quickly, because we're pressed for time.
Okay, I will speak to the good one that I give credit to this current administration in terms of the fiscal policy. But you can see the back and forth that has taken more than a year in even establish a position on things that can take us forward. How can we unanimously come together? Because a lot of us believe that if we have this fiscal policy as put together by the committee set up by Mr. President, we can have an enroll into certain development that will start happening. But you discover that despite some of the good moves, you have other people within the same party frustrating the effort at the center because we claim we are practicing federalism. And it speaks to personal greed. It speaks to the corruption that we have in the system, knowing fully well that if we can have a way through with this particular policy, it's going to enhance a lot of things. And that's why Mr. President must seek for a way to have collaboration with the subnationals in such a way that they can move this country forward in an institutional reform and take off corruption that has become an endemic in our system, bringing down a lot of things. If we don't address these basic issues, we go nowhere, and we'll just be regrowing within the same space, thinking we are moving further. But I can tell you for free, a lot of citizens are not really enjoying, governance as we speak, because education is nowhere to be found. Look at the money that is being provided as loan. We are already hearing about corruption. Who are you bringing to justice for misappropriating some of these funds and diverted it, even when they have actually owned up? How many people have actually gone to jail? These are practical things I feel that Mr. President needs to look to, not withholding, but bringing those that are actually found culpable to justice to serve as deterrent to others that might even be considering the idea, knowing well that there is punishment for them to do. On that note, we can move forward as a nation.
Yeah, we need to move forward as well. Mr. Olusesan, I must say thank you for taking out the time to join us. We appreciate you.